Gaming in 2026 is hitting an all-time peak, and we are halfway through the year. Some say this is the best year since 2016 for gaming. I think y'all romanticized that year just a little too much, but to each their own. After all the gaming award shows and showcases that took place, it really showed how much quality is actually coming out around the same time. And I feel like companies knew this year would be a hotbed for game releases. This year, more so than the last 2 years, had a lot of games come out, and it felt like it was something for everybody to at least try to play. Whether you like hack and slash, RPGs, JRPGs, open worlds, just or even if you just a ball and gun gamer, there was something that came out that garnered your interest. Now, am I going to play everything or even half of the stuff that came out this year? Absolutely not, because I like to protect my pockets. And a good playthrough on YouTube is just enough sometimes. Just make sure you ain't talking about the game as if you played it when you watch it. Just looking at the stuff that's already came out, you got Neo 3, which I eventually do want to play because I did like playing Neo 2. But I just couldn't get around to it right now. From what I've seen of it, looks like the gameplay is just like a little faster, and it seems like they might have toned it down a little bit from what I've heard. And I've seen a couple of the boss battles, maybe like two or three, and it looks pretty good. Some of the color palette, not the huge fan of so far. Everything I've seen, it just looks like kind of the same as far as like the color choices. But other than that, I do enjoy Neo 2 because I do enjoy the Neo series just because of the amount of customization, the amount of freedom that you kind of get with the action. As far as like other Souls-like games, that's the kind of stuff I like. One I did play, Romeo is a Dead Man. Really short game. I think it's around like 12 to 13 hours or something like that. It's not the greatest as far as like refined gameplay, especially with the action. A little bit clunky, and the story does leave a little bit more to be desired. But as far as just like a throwback with a hack and slash beat 'em up, you're going in for one reason of this game, and there's a lot of really interesting like set pieces. And I do think as far as like aesthetic and design, they did try to go out of their way and be a little different. As if you've seen anything like No More Heroes, it is by the same creator. So if you like that, definitely check it out when it's on like sale or something. One I do want to get to, and I remember this was hyped up during one of the, I don't know if I can't remember if it was the Game Awards or Showcase or something. God of War, Son of Sparta. I'm a God of War fan. I played about three of them. Played literally half of them. I have not played the older ones just because I'm hesitant to play older games sometimes as far as like how old they get. So like 2 and the first one I'm really hesitant to play. But I played God of War 3 in 2018 and Ragnarok. Looking forward to the Law Fate one that's coming out. When it comes to Sparta, I was a little hesitant in getting it because it's another side scroller, and I just finished a game similar to it not too long ago. So I was kind of like not really looking forward to playing it, but eventually I might get around to it. It's already like not that expensive, so I might get to it at some point, especially since it's like a prequel based on Kratos when he was a Spartan. So interested in that as far as the narrative at least. High on Life 2. This is one that also went under the radar just because the amount of stuff that came out. I love the first High on Life. I do want to get to 2 eventually, but my catalog is already backed up with certain things, so I don't know when I'm gonna ever get to it. If you just love a comedy, anything that's similar to Rick and Morty, definitely check it out, especially if you do like the Doom gameplays and stuff like that, which I'm hit and miss with the Doom clones and whatnot. But this one, I can give a little bit more leeway to just because of how creative and wacky and fun it is to just follow along with the story and the characters. And one that was probably the first big release of the year, as far as everyone kind of looking at it thinking this was going to be a game of the year contender, was Crimson Desert. Not gonna lie, after looking at some stuff and some gameplay of it, because I was really hesitant when I seen it because the gameplay from the trailers and some of the showcases, it just looked too good to be true. And it seemed like a huge sandbox with like a lot of just you trying to fill in the gaps with the gameplay and with some of the choices for action. And I just wasn't really sure what it was because I'm like, this is going to be a big sandbox and it just leaves a lot more to be desired. And after looking at some of the gameplay and the story and seeing some reviews for it, I was just kind of like hesitant on getting it. And I don't know if I'm going to play this just because another 100+ hour game is just not for me. I don't mind playing 100+ hour games as long as I know I don't have to play anything else that I'm interested in, just because those games, it feels like it's just monotonous. It's like you start out great, and then once you get into the middle of the game, you realize it's just so much fluff that it's like this could have easily been cut down by like 40 hours. Maybe I'll eventually get to it, but hopefully that's not the case with Crimson Desert. I know it's still getting updates and stuff, so if you enjoy it, you're gonna enjoy it. But 100+ hour sandbox game right now, it's just not for me. Source is another one I haven't gotten to. I have seen Returnal. I don't know if I'll get to this one, but it's one that's on my list for if it's on sale, I'll get it just because, I don't know, something about that just looks like it would catch my attention. Even though it is like a shooter action game, which I normally don't play. It's just, I'm a sucker for like great graphics and great atmosphere. Hopefully, with a good narrative behind it, I'll probably end up liking it. And one of the games that released not too long ago, I don't know if I'll put it as like a game of the year for me, but I don't know, maybe it's just gonna be like a comfort game, and that's probably just because of the nature of the game. The Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. When I first got this, I already knew I was gonna like it, and playing through it, it just really made me go back and think of like how great the Arkham games really were. And this is the closest we're gonna get to it, because I honestly don't think the series is coming back. But with the Lego Batman, if you like any of the Batman Arkham series, it's literally that. But honestly, it looks better than all three of them, which is surprising from a Lego game. It's the first one I ever played. The only reason I'm even playing it is because of the Dark Knight Legacy, and the suits and all the references to Batman, and even just like other films and stuff is really dope. My favorite thing with the suits is the fact that they have the absolute Batman suit in there. I literally had to get that just for this. As far as just gameplay and getting immersed into the world, and if you're just like a fan of Batman, I would say pick it up, but maybe not for the full price, I'm not gonna lie. Especially since at the end of the day, it's a Lego game, so it is a lot of collecting, which even with my OCD, I am just not going to be able to collect everything. These next two I'm going to put together as ones I just really want to get to, because I played the demo for one of them, that being Pragmata, the other being 007 First Light. I really want to get to these games, especially 007 First Light, because I love linear action games. That's like my bread and butter because of how you can put so much attention into a set piece, a story, character interactions, all of that stuff, especially when it comes to a main character, because a lot of times with the open world games, it feels like the main character just kind of gets put in the back sometimes, and they're really trying to flesh out the world, and it's like the world is hit or miss, because it's like, is it even cool enough to really get immersed into, and is it like I'm really more interested in my character than the actual world. But with 007 and Pragmata, these two are both, I think, under 30 hours or something like that. They're both relatively short as far as like gameplay and game time. And I played the demo for Pragmata, and I thought the puzzle solving, the combination of the action and the shooting was actually really different. I never played anything like that, and I do want to get to that story to finish it eventually. And both of those have gotten rave reviews. I'm sure they'll be talked about up until next year as far as the Game Awards and stuff. So definitely I would love to get to these at some point. Invincible Versus, I am a fighting game buff. I play literally almost every single fighting game, at least big, that came out. I didn't touch Fatal Fury, of course, but with the fighting game loop, it's kind of in like a lull period where there really is no top dog, because Tekken's going through Tekken things right now. Street Fighter 6 is kind of in like a lull period. There's nothing really crazy going on with Street Fighter 6, and Mortal Kombat is just dead at this point. So with Tekken kind of being, I guess, at the top or the upper echelon of the fighting games, Invincible Versus kind of was stuck in that lane, and it hasn't really been talked about as much. I don't even know if the player base is or people are really still playing it. I played the demo. I actually thought it was pretty fun, even though it did come with a few things I wasn't really a huge fan of. I'm thinking it's a fun tag fighter, but then again, when you're getting a lot of new fans, tag fighters are a lot harder to learn compared to like a regular one-on-one fighter, so I think that also is kind of what hurt the game in a sense. But I don't think it's a bad game whatsoever. For the games coming out, it's stacked as hell, especially in the month of September, with GTA 6 looking like a dead calamity just sitting by itself in November, because no one financially wants to compete with GTA 6, which, I mean, that's the smartest thing any of these companies are doing, because that month, and even in October, it's not entirely like a lot coming out, but even in that month alone, GTA 6, you can already imagine the first day and the first week is going to break so many records. It's going to be incredible to see like what type of number they get. I can't even predict what it's going to be, but considering this thing is so huge that it feels like when it drops, the entire world is just going to stop and just talk and play and talk about this game, that I'm actually looking forward to getting. And then I'm be honest, I'm not even like the biggest GTA fan. I do like San Andreas, I do like Vice City, I like 5, and then I haven't gotten to play some of the other ones. But they're all kind of like the same game. It's just obviously upgraded based on what generation you're playing. But this one is just a cult classic. Everybody loves it at this point because you can just do so much into the game. And it looks like with GTA 6 they're going to be adding even more things. But I don't know if the basketball thing is going to stay. Looks like they're actually going to have some sort of, I don't know if it's going to be like a combat system, but some sort of like more refined and detailed fighting, brawling. So the stuff's going to be cool. I'm really interested into what the story is going to be. And like, since I played the past Vice City, I'm curious to see what type of references or maybe older buildings will still be in there. That's cool. But I just know, like, even in December, it's not going to be that much competing waiting after this. Now in August, I'm really only looking at one thing, and that's the Marvel Tokon fighting souls. I'm a fighting game buff, like I said before, and I was a little skeptical of the 4v4 with the health bar thing, but you know, I'm still very hyped for potentially the next big fighting game, because this one is going to be really telling as to where the next fighting game like hype is going to be for at least the next couple of years. And with Carnage and Green Goblin announced for the game, I'm entirely locked in for this. Now as for the stuff that is coming out in the next couple months, especially with September just alone, obviously I am hyped for Wolverine, and looking at the last gameplay trailer that they dropped and the stuff that they went over, I'm really curious to see what Insomniac does, because I only know Insomniac for Spider-Man and all of the games with Spider-Man. Never seen anything else or played anything else from him. So seeing a linear, violent, brutal, and I would say just hopefully something that has a lot more detail as far as like set pieces and direction. Hopefully it's good game time with it, because I don't entirely want the Wolverine game to be too short, just because there's so much potential that you could do, just because of how many characters you can throw in there for Wolverine to go against or team with. I am begging, hopefully, maybe it's like a secret or a bonus mission. We get like a Hulk fight in there somewhere for a potential Hulk game, because I do think Insomniac, that should be the next character they do if they want to stray away from like the Spider-Man and the Wolverine stuff. I'm looking forward to the Sabretooth fight, because Sabretooth and Wolverine is one of the coolest, like, I guess, dynamics and just character like rivalries in comics period for me. And yeah, it's just not much you can really say. Like, a lot of people know what to expect from this game, and they're just kind of anticipating to see when it's going to come out and how we're going to get it, because this is also the first time Wolverine's getting a solo game since I think like 2009 or 2010 or something like that. So it's been a long time, especially for one of the most popular characters in Marvel, and honestly just in superheroes in general. Onimusha is also coming out. I want to get this one. This would be my first Onimusha that I'm going to be playing. Never played none of the old school ones, but I played the demo and I thought it was really dope. I didn't know what to expect for the action, because I thought it was going to be like a hack and slash, like maybe like a Devil May Cry type thing, just for reference. That's kind of what I thought it would be, but it is a lot more cerebral, a lot more detailed as far as like the violence and the action and how he goes with finishes people off with the sword. It kind of gave me like a vibe of like if Ghost of Tsushima, like the fights were naturally shorter and just like a lot more visceral. Plus it's based around Masashi Miyamoto. I love everything about him and his legend throughout Japan. This game is definitely going to be, I think, a sleeper for like a potential game of the year in my opinion. Not into it. Eventually I gotta like get the courage to just gotta play these games, because I just don't do it well with horror that well, and I don't know if I'll ever really get into it. But Silent Hill, the downfall, hopefully I can like eventually kind of muster up and start with that, because out of all the horror games, this is kind of the one I would lean towards. Maybe even Resident Evil as well. Anything else like where it's like I gotta go through all these like crazy dark, like, you know, jump scare like type stuff, call me whatever you want, I'm just not into none of that. One that's coming out that I haven't really seen like an official date for, so I don't know when it's coming out. I'm assuming like between September and October, is Castlevania's Belmont Curse. I love the Castlevania series. Couldn't really get fully into like the most recent one, but as far as the original like 4 seasons, I thought the show was amazing, and it was really unique because I never seen anything in Castlevania. And I did obviously do some research to see about the game, and looking at this new game, I really like it. I've gotten into side scrollers recently and Metrovania type games, so something like this is definitely up my alley now. And the action looks fun, it looks very colorful, and I like the whole Alucard and Dracula just lore too, so this one should be a cool pickup. I don't know, hopefully it's not like a crazy price, because one thing about side scrollers and Metrovania games, I like them at a certain price though. Anything over 50, we trip. And the last big one to me, I think, is actually going to be my game of the year, is Phantom Blade Zero. This game has been pretty much anticipated for the last 2 years with the gameplay that we've seen, and it's a lot of gameplay that we've seen, which is rare nowadays, because a lot of the times we get like cinematic trailers and like cutscenes and stuff, and you really might not see gameplay until like a month or 2 before it comes out. This one looks like such a up my alley type of game. When I first saw it, I thought it was gonna be like kind of like a Neo, where it was gonna be hack and slash inspired, but it's still like a Souls game. It's definitely not that. It's just like a challenging hack and slash beat 'em up game, and the whole combat looks amazing. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Ninja Gaiden vibes, and some of the bosses that we've seen look pretty interesting. I'm really interested in like the character designs and like maybe some world building of some sort. I don't know if like the world is gonna have like an actual part in the story, or is it more so just gonna be, or whether it's gonna be like character based or something like that. I don't know, but I've been waiting years for this, and it's finally gonna be coming out, and I do think this is gonna be the best one to drop in my opinion for the year. So gaming right now is in a very, very, very good state, as 2027 is already looking pretty damn good too. especially for me being a Persona fan, which check out the last video. I'm already waiting for 2027 to come out. But everything that I've listed is something that I'm either going to try to get or I'm definitely going to play, and maybe even make some videos about. Anything that I haven't talked about, it's just because I just either wasn't interested in it or it's just something I just didn't even think to remember to, speak on. But going to be interesting to see how these games come out, and hopefully everything comes out great. That way 2026 can actually be a peak year for gaming. One of the peak years for gaming. I think it's already on pace of doing that. So leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll let y'all on the next one. Peace.